Hey Robin, thank you so much for talking today with me about the leadership game.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, and we had so much fun. So we had the opportunity to do the leadership game twice together. The first time was with a really large group of people, 18 people, and then the second time with your smaller leadership team. So why don't you give me some idea on the two experiences, one with the larger group and then one, well, why don't you actually start with the overall view of the leadership game and what you thought it brought to you?
Wow, I actually didn't know what to expect at first, but it was a wonderful method of being able to be get to the bottom of things and be vulnerable with people or get everybody's thoughts out, but in a creative way. It took away a lot of the maybe stress about sharing certain things with people and made it fun. I think also for people who are maybe they learn better with visual learners, or people who are tactile need to touch things with the sticky notes and writing it down, or the cards, and thinking a lot about strategy. It was really great. Another way to express vulnerability, express honesty with your team, and grow with others.
Yeah, and I know like part of it is obviously bringing up, one of the questions I think in the last session that we had was what are your fears within your organization over the next 12 months? And that brought up a lot of great things, but then we had questions of who's the best encourager in the group and why. And so you have an opportunity to kind of share insights about people that you really appreciate, but then you also have an opportunity to talk about some challenging topics. How have
Mhm.
you guys used the lessons that you've learned in the leadership game? We did one, 5 or 6 months ago, and then one just last week. But how have you learned used those lessons that you guys have learned?
I remember when we did it the first time, we had that big group of people, and it was our associate team alongside a lot of people that we oversee. And so when we did the specific exercises where you had to write down certain thoughts or ideas or concerns on the sticky notes, we shared, or I'm sorry, we saved all the sticky notes, and later, maybe a week or two later in our associate meeting, we went over all of them and addressed each concern individually and just said, okay, is this something that we need to move forward together to address as a associate team? And it's so important. And I think that Jonathan still has those sticky notes in his office, but to have that physical example of these are real concerns that our team has that maybe they haven't felt comfortable with sharing with us audibly, but to write it down anonymously on a sticky note and hand it in, to that's safe for them. So we were able to get to the bottom of certain things that maybe we would never have heard if we hadn't played that game.
Yeah, and that's interesting because a lot of them were creative insights of how to build it, do things better or think of things a little bit differently. And some of them were, valid concerns of what could happen in the future. And so you guys, I love that you took it and you actually did something with it afterward. So I know last week when we were together, we had an immediate situation that we, were able to sit down and actually brainstorm right there and work through a challenge that may arise in something that may or may not have been talked about had we not been doing that game. It might have just gone awry and maybe nobody would have addressed it. And so
Absolutely.
that was really neat. I haven't had that happen before, but I was very encouraged by what it brought out in you guys. So if you were doing this, I mean, I've done the leadership game with my family, and it's been very, very encouraging to be able to share with each other the positive strengths that they have or concerns about the future that we may have. But if you were thinking of groups or people that would get something out of this leadership game, is there something that you would say to them or encourage them to do?
Hmm. I think coming into it with the attitude of wanting to be better together, really wanting to grow and raise our awareness of each other's fears, or wanting to encourage each other, wanting to grow together. I think that's huge. You have to put into it what you want to get out of it. So, being a good team sport, I was afraid with a couple people that we were playing it with. I thought, I don't know if they're going to be so on board. I'm not sure. Are they really going to want to do this or see the value? But they ended up being the ones that really opened up and really surprised me. So I think it's a real non-threatening way to get to the bottom of some issues and to get some real honest transparency out there as a team.
Yeah. Well, and also to get to know each other a little bit better, right? To know what's deep in your heart and what are you thinking, and some, be able to encourage another person along the way, maybe of something they're doing really well. And I know it gets a little competitive with earning some points and, things like that. But well, I really appreciate you. I had so much fun, and I look forward to the next chance that we can do this together. So I
Oh,
think
me too.
yeah, it would be a blast. But I'm glad. I'm so happy that you guys are continuing to take it and grow from the lessons that we had. And I know we did it for 2 hours, and that 2 hours just flew by. I mean, it was
Wasn't enough time.
wasn't enough time. We could have been there for, yeah, I don't even think we got around the table once.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely wasn't enough.
yeah, so it was a lot of fun. But thank you so much. I appreciate you. Have a
Oh,
great
I
day.
appreciate you so much. Thank you.
All right.